Electricity is used to power our everyday appliances like refrigerators, televisions, dryers, and computers.
Unfortunately, these appliances use energy that comes from rapidly depleting fossil fuels.
Greenhouse gas emissions from power plants and other human sources are causing the atmosphere to heat up, the ice caps to melt, and sea levels to rise.
Since 1979, NASA has been taking pictures of shrinking ice caps.
We're experiencing changes in the sort of weather and climate that we experience in our day-to-day lives in the cities that we live in. But in addition, it's changing what our sea levels are. It's also creating a risk to where people live. Most people live within 100 miles of the coastlines, whether that's in Asia, in Africa, or in North America. And if the sea level starts to rise, that's going to impact our cities, because our cities were built and our infrastructure was put in place under a particular regime where the oceans were lower than they are today.
In the future, sea level rise combined with a severe enough storm could cause the Charles River to flood. Low-lying areas of Cambridge could be completely underwater.
CO2 is one of the gases emitted by burning fossil fuels in cars and power plants.
CO2 is particularly important for oceans because it can really readily dissolve into ocean water and can change the acidity of that ocean and can impact marine life across the board and impact the species viability and also our food supply. Your clams and your mussels and these things that have shells, if the water becomes more acidic, they'll start to dissolve. And that's going to affect coral reefs, it's going to affect shellfish, it's going to affect all of these creatures. But the problem is worse than just the shellfish and the reefs, because there's a whole food chain. And so if you start affecting one of the species, it propagates through the system, affecting more of them.
There are eco-friendly forms of energy we can use to power our world that do not cause as much harm to our environment.
One of the alternative sources of energy that people have been exploring and is growing very rapidly is wind power.
Wind power can provide us with a source of clean, renewable energy. When the wind blows, the energy from the wind causes the turbine blades to rotate. This motion generates electricity by spinning gears connected to a generator. This electricity can either be stored in a battery or transferred to the grid, where people will be able to use it.
One of the most effective ways that a family can reduce its CO2 emissions and its carbon footprint is honestly by thinking about some of the choices that they're making. Thinking about, well, do I really need to drive to the store? Or maybe I can string a few of these errands that I need to run together so that I'm not driving quite as many miles.
Your carbon footprint is a measure of the emissions generated by day-to-day activities.
The average U.S. citizen's carbon footprint is 107 pounds of carbon per day. That's 21 bricks. That's bigger than the average in Europe, China, and Congo combined.
Bob used to use an old dryer to dry his clothing, but he realized that this uses a lot of electricity. Bob can save money by buying an energy-efficient dryer, or he can even dry his clothes outside, which uses no electricity at all. Bob realized that leaving the lights on when no one is in the room was a waste too, so he flips the switch off when he leaves.
Well, many appliances nowadays draw what's called phantom power, which means that even when the device is in the off position, it is still drawing current so that it starts up faster when you come back to it. So many appliances do that, including laptops, televisions, even phones when they're charging. To reduce phantom power use is to plug your appliances or any device consuming electricity into a power strip and then turn the power strip off, and that will turn all the devices off at the same time.
small changes make a big difference.